Hello, lovely crafty friends. Welcome to Love Builds Up Crafts. I am Sasha, and welcome to the Do What Makes You Happy Milestone Celebration Hop. So, a couple of us have collaborated today in order to celebrate the amazing Tasha and Erica because they have absolutely achieved something so tremendous. They have reached a whopping 1,000 subscribers, and that is not easy to do at all. So massive applause to both ladies, and it couldn't have happened to a better pair of people because I promise you they're they're such amazing human beings, and it is such an honor for me to know them and to even be included in this hop. Okay, so enough of my sentimental waffle. Let's get to the card making. Okay, so we'll start off with an A5 piece of black cardstock. Normally, I use like this velvety cardstock from Tonic Studios, but I have actually run out of that. So this one will do, okay, for what we want to achieve. Any black cardstock will do. You'll also need some dream drops. I absolutely love dream drops, and today I'll show you a quick way to like cheat yourself into a really awesome card without having to do coloring or any hard work. You also need one of these. The preference is yours. I prefer the metallic one for this technique. And then we're going to start by just adding a healthy dose of love potion Nuva drop. Just go for it, okay? And then we'll follow that with some indigo eclipse. Now, when you add the Nuvo drops to the card, they start to turn a different color when you add them to black, really, because of the pigment that's in them. We'll finish off with some dragon scales, just a bit of this, not too much, because this is like a green and we don't want it to be too green. We want it to be like a bluish, purpley, black, those type of colors. So as you're mixing it together, really take your time and just pay attention. Make sure that you're getting it all nicely mixed in and it's all becoming one flat layer. You don't want like this lumpy mess because that doesn't look nice. But really take your time to just mix it all together so that it's like one array of beautiful color. Then you're going to go ahead and use your palette knife to add texture. This is just like a little extra thing that just takes your card to the next level because you're now adding more interest. And we're just doing this simple action of just pressing our palette knife onto the mix there. I almost said mess. It's not a mess, okay. Onto the Nuvo mix there, and then pulling it up, and that just gives these nice little ripples. Look at these colors, it's so pretty. So just leave that to dry. It won't take that long, but whilst it's drying, we're going to take a scrap piece of navy cardstock and then just blend some prize ribbon distress ink onto it. We just want it darker, so any dark ink that you have, you can just add to it. We will be making a slimline card, so we're going to need a 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch panel of white cardstock. The one I'm using there is 300 GSM, but you can use whatever you normally use. And now I'm going to take this Pinkfresh Studios slimline dies to just create a frame. I'll die cut 2 of those frames because we're going to stick them together just to add that bit of dimension. And I'm also going to add foam tape to it. Now, these foam tape strips, those things make me so happy, okay? I get mine off Amazon, but I know there are other places that sell them. These things are absolute gold. They fit into like the tiniest of spaces and they just make your life so much easier. So if you've never seen these, make sure you look out in the description. I will link them below, but you need this in your life. Trust me, you need this in your life. Okay, so our dream drop panel is all dry now, so we can go ahead and start some die cutting. Before you do that though, make sure that it is really dry. Like when you touch it, it shouldn't be sticky in any way, shape or form. And if it is, you can take your heat gun and just make sure that it is fully dry. So when you press on it, you should be able to just lift your hand off it without feeling any stickiness. That's how you know it's really dry. Because if you don't make sure of that, when you send it through your die cutting machine, it's just going to stick to your plates and then you're going to have a proper mess. So make sure it's dry. To die cut, we'll be using this anemone die from the Step Market. I hope I'm saying that right. it is a layering die, so it comes with all these gorgeous layers. But for today, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to use just the base layer and then the top layer. So on this panel, our Nuva Drop panel, we'll cut out the base layer, and then on our inky background, the one we made darker, we're going to cut out the centers. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut all of that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so these are all the elements that we need to assemble our flowers. I've gone ahead and die cut that layer from that die there as well, and I die cut that out of some Harvest Gold mirror cardstock. That is my favorite mirror cardstock in the whole wide world. I definitely overuse it, but it's just so pretty. So this golden die cut has like this outline layer. It's ever so thin, so pull it out so delicately. Just be so careful with it, because that's the bit that we actually want to go on top of our base. So once you've pulled it out, it looks like that. It looks like this, like a wire frame. It is really so beautifully delicate, and that's going to go over the top of our flower. I'll just go ahead and pop some glue on the back of my hand so that I can dip my die cut inside. I've seen other people do this with intricate dies, so I thought I'll give it a go and see if it works for this. So now I'm going to stick my die cut over my base flower thing, because it's not a flower when it's just the base. So, and then I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of my center there before sticking it down in the middle of the flower. And that is our gorgeous flower. Just look how beautifully like the light reflects off of that. This is why I love Nuva Drops. It's just so gorgeous. So I went ahead and assembled the rest of my flowers and then popped them into a layout, but I did feel like something was missing, so I was having a dilemma between adding some shaded lilac or some tumbled glass, because I think both would look nice with this card. I ended up going with some shaded lilac, but I needed to like keep my layout the way it is, so I'm just grabbing some press and seal, and I'm going to use that to pick up my layout. Now I should have done this part before using the press and seal, but I'm just marking the areas where I want to shade, because I don't need to shade that whole panel. I just need to add some areas of it, to shade some areas of it. So I'm just marking with a pencil so that it gives me sort of like a gauge where I need to I'll shade. Pick all of that up with my press and seal, and then I'm going to go ahead and quickly blend some of that shaded lilac into the spaces that I marked. I want like a nice light blend, so don't go too dark. And then once I was done with that, I kind of liked it, but it still felt a bit flat. So I went ahead and added a bit of seedless preserves to my shaded lilac, and I like that much better. I think it really made all the colors in the card pop. I'll go ahead and then stick that panel onto the card base before I add my flowers, so that it is ready to just be finished up. I'm going to take my press and seal and start sticking on the elements one by one, starting with that frame. The frame already has foam tape on it, so we just have to pop it on. And then I'm going to stick the flowers. First, I'm going to stick the bottom layers that don't need any foam tape. So I'll just add the glue, then use the press and seal to place them. Then once I'm done with that layer, I'll go ahead and add foam tape to the other flowers, stick them down, and then the press and seal is really handy. I really love it. I don't know why I haven't been using it all along. It's such a great tool. The last piece is a big congrats, because of course we're here to congratulate Erica and Tasha on their achievement. So big congrats to you both. And I really hope you like this card. I did add some bling to it, because it's not a celebration without any bling, so in my world anyway. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to the channel, like and comment, and let me know what you think of the card. And definitely go to the next stop, because next up we've got Leanne from Studio Carter, and she does amazing things. So definitely hop along with the rest of the hop and enjoy the hop. And remember, do what makes you happy.